It was 2:43 a.m. on March 17, 1941. The North Atlantic was pitch black, with 20-foot waves sweeping the deck of the U-99. Lieutenant Commander Otto Kretschmer stood atop the conning tower, his blue eyes scanning the horizon through Zeiss binoculars. He was hunting. In the waters ahead, a British convoy of 22 ships sailed casually, completely unaware of the predator stalking them. Kretschmer turned to his first officer and said calmly, "Ready all tubes. We're going right into the middle of them." His crew looked at him as if he'd gone mad. Entering the middle of a convoy? That was tactical suicide. Every Kriegsmarine submarine manual said to attack from the periphery and flee. But Kretschmer didn't follow manuals. He rewrote the rules with every mission. The U-99 dived to 30 meters, silently penetrating the merchant formation like a ghost shark. Over the next 4 hours, Kretschmer would sink 7 ships, 42,000 tons of vital cargo for Britain, without firing a single stray torpedo. 7 shots, 7 ships at the bottom of the ocean. A 100% hit rate. Something no other submarine commander in history would ever repeat. But this wasn't just another successful attack. This was the U-99's 16th patrol. In 18 months of operation, that cursed submarine, mocked, ridiculed, and considered unlucky by its own engineers, had become the most efficient killing machine of World War II. This is the story of how a submarine doomed to failure and its visionary commander terrified the Atlantic and nearly won the Battle of the Atlantic alone. Let's go back to the beginning. August 1939, a month before the war started. The U-99 was being finished at the A.G. Weser shipyard in Bremen, Germany. It was a Type VIIB, one of the Kriegsmarine's new medium submarines. It wasn't the biggest, only 500 tons. It wasn't the fastest. It wasn't the most modern. In the words of a naval inspector, it was completely mediocre. But there was a problem. During construction, strange accidents began to happen. A welder fell from a scaffold and broke both legs. A section of the hull was installed backward and had to be recut. An electrical fire damaged the diesel engines when they were 90% complete. 3 workers developed mysterious pneumonia. In 6 months, the U-99 accumulated more construction accidents than any other sub in the fleet. The shipyard workers began calling it der Flutschboot, the cursed boat. Rumors spread that the hull metal was cast on a Friday the 13th, or that a priest had refused to bless it. Sailors are superstitious, and no one wanted to serve on the U-99. When the submarine was finally commissioned on April 18, 1940, the Kriegsmarine struggled to find a crew. Experienced officers refused the command. It was offered to 3 different commanders. All politely declined. The U-99 sat anchored in port for 6 weeks, a metal ghost, while the war was already raging. Until someone accepted Otto Kretschmer. He was 27, with piercing blue eyes, known as Silent Otto, because he rarely spoke. He didn't believe in curses. He believed in mathematics, physics, and tactics. When offered the U-99, he accepted without hesitation. His superiors were relieved. His crew was terrified. On the first day, Kretschmer called the 44 men assigned to the U-99 together. They were visibly nervous. Kretschmer spoke for only 2 minutes. You've heard the stories. The cursed boat. Let me be clear. Curses don't sink ships. Incompetence sinks ships. If you follow my orders with precision, this submarine will be the deadliest in the Kriegsmarine. If you don't, no curse will be necessary. I'll sink you myself. Understood. Total silence. Then a young sailor raised his hand. Captain, do you really believe we can beat the curse? Kretschmer looked him in the eye. There is no curse to beat. There is only British incompetence to exploit, and we're going to exploit it to the last ship. The U-99's first patrol began on June 27, 1940. Kretschmer had developed a radical philosophy that contradicted standard training. Official doctrine said to attack from long range with multiple torpedo volleys to ensure at least 1 hit. Kretschmer threw all that out. His philosophy was chillingly simple. Ein Torpedo, ein Schiff, 1 torpedo, 1 ship. He got so close to the targets that missing was impossible. He attacked at night, on the surface, where the U-99's low profile was almost invisible. He had one absolute rule: never waste a torpedo. If he wasn't certain of a hit, he didn't fire. But his most revolutionary tactic was the middle of the convoy approach. While other U-boats attacked from the outside and fled, Kretschmer sailed inside the formation, positioning himself between the ships. British escorts looked for submarines on the outside. They never imagined one was sailing among the merchant ships they were supposed to protect. On the first patrol, Kretschmer sank 3 ships. On the second, 5. On the third, 6. With every mission, the numbers grew. Upon returning to port, the crew of the cursed boat was welcomed as heroes. The jokes about the curse stopped. Now they spoke of the golden U-99, the submarine that couldn't be sunk. Kretschmer was developing a mythical reputation. He never used the periscope during night attacks, claiming his natural vision was better. He calculated firing solutions in his head without using the torpedo computer. He could identify the exact type of ship just by the sound of its propellers. His men began to believe he had a sixth sense. But it wasn't supernatural. It was obsession. Kretschmer studied every existing Allied ship. He knew their speeds, maneuvers, and weak points. He kept a detailed notebook with sketches of every vessel type. Perfection through relentless preparation. In October 1940, the U-99 participated in the first coordinated Wolf Pack. Convoy SC-7 had 35 merchant ships protected by only 2 escorts. It was a massacre. In 2 nights, 20 of the 35 ships were sunk. Kretschmer's U-99 alone sank 7 of them, more than a third of the total. Kretschmer used only 10 torpedoes to sink those 7 ships. That's a 70% efficiency rate, while the Kriegsmarine average was 15%. Admiral Donitz personally flew in to congratulate him, calling him the greatest U-boat commander who ever lived. With fame came danger. The British noticed a pattern: ships being hunted with surgical precision. A single torpedo always hitting vital spots. The British Admiralty created a secret dossier and soon discovered who Otto Kretschmer was. A price was put on his head: £10,000 for whoever sank the U-99. The British developed the Kretschmer Protocol, full lighting of all ships and searching inside the convoy itself. But Kretschmer always escaped. He had a trick. After attacking, instead of fleeing at high speed, he would shut down the engines completely. The U-99 would sit dead in the water, silent, sinking slowly. When the escorts gave up, he would surface and continue hunting. In December 1940, Kretschmer received the Knight's Cross with oak leaves. Hitler personally placed it around his neck. At 27, he was a national celebrity. Newspapers called him the King of the Atlantic. The numbers kept rising: 30 ships, 35 ships. But the British were developing radar. By February 1941, the first destroyers equipped with radar began escorting convoys. For the first time, they could detect surface submarines at night. Kretschmer's invisible advantage was vanishing. March 17, 1941. The U-99 had just sunk 7 ships from convoy HX-112. This brought the total to 38 ships sunk, 244,658 tons. It was a record no other submarine would ever beat. He ordered the U-99 to surface to recharge its batteries. But the destroyer HMS Walker detected a radar echo. Captain Donald McIntyre had studied the U-99 dossier and knew Kretschmer's tactics. The Walker accelerated silently, approaching from behind. Kretschmer was on deck, smoking a cigarette, unaware of the destroyer closing in at 30 knots. At 3:51 a.m., a searchlight exploded through the darkness. The U-99 was lit up as if it were midday. Kretschmer shouted the alarm to dive, but it was too late. The Walker was only 400 meters away and launched depth charges. Kretschmer made a decision. To save his crew, he ordered maximum emergency and detonated the scuttling charges. He was sinking his own submarine so his men could jump clear. Kretschmer was the last one out, watching the U-99 disappear beneath the waves. The HMS Walker rescued 40 of the 44 crew members. When Kretschmer was brought to the bridge, Captain McIntyre gave him a military salute. "It's an honor to finally meet you. You fought brilliantly." Kretschmer returned the salute. "The war is over for me, but your troubles are just beginning." Kretschmer spent 7 years as a prisoner. He was released in 1947 and lived until 1998. To the end, he refused to discuss his U-99 days publicly. But the legacy remained. That cursed submarine sank 38 ships in just 18 months. In 1958, a former shipyard worker admitted that the accidents during the U-99's construction were deliberate sabotage by anti-Nazi workers. They tried to create a disaster, but accidentally created a legend. The boat that was supposed to fail became the fleet's greatest success. The U-99 proved that curses only exist if you believe in them. Kretschmer took a submarine no one wanted and made it the deadliest in history. Not because the boat was special, but because he was. To this day, Kretschmer's tactics are studied in naval academies. He sank the equivalent of 10% of all British tonnage lost in the Atlantic in 1940. One submarine, one man, 244,658 tons of destruction. If you want to know the true tactical geniuses of war, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Every week, we bring stories that make you rethink military strategy. Leave a like and tell us in the comments. Would you have the courage to serve on a cursed boat? Until the next secret, remember, the greatest victories come from the bets no one else wanted to make. Peace.